Must-win game for Bangkok Titans coming through. And KLG, they're just starting to piece it together. They look much better going into the end of yesterday, and we'll see if they can pick up another win.
Yeah, they had some super carry performances as well. You can see the Gragas band already coming through from the Bangkok Titans. Julius Tito was a god on the Fat Man in their previous series and looked very, very good. Whereas on the other side of the rift, 007X, take away the Udyr and the Nunu, doesn't look quite as powerful.
Yeah, force him onto the second tier of junglers. And, you know, Jarvan is something that we've thrown out there for 007X to play.
Yeah.
I want to see what they go for. Do they just go extremely aggressive? Because, you know, these guys have already shown from the Sia region they're willing to dive turrets pretty much at random. And they're real brave when it comes to setting up the mid game. But you see Nautilus and Hecarim also joining the ban list. So no top lane Hecarim coming through. I'm really happy that this has started to be a regular ban.
Finally, teams have caught wind of the fact that, yes, Hecarim relatively strong at the moment. That one is going to be taken away, but Reggie going to lock in Zed for the first pick. It's a pick away from G4, but also a favorite here for Reggie.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they do this pretty often actually in the late AM server, able to pick up just a blind pick mid laner. It's an assassin, so with all the control mages still available, definitely is a risky pick. I'm looking at you, Orianna, primarily.
Oh, yeah.
Who, if you dive onto it, punishes you very heavily, but we'll have to see exactly how it works out. Things like Cho'Gath can also be used in it. If G4 wants to once again take the Ahri, who he played fantastically yesterday, he'll be able to do that as well. So we'll have to see what the pickups are, but Bangkok Titans, they're starting to take a little bit of time.
They most certainly are. No cheeky hovers to come through either. Bangkok Titans really taking this one very seriously and taking all of the time that they can to make their choices. A lot of concern here on the faces for our Southeast Asian team, and 007X looking at the Rek'Sai for some early control, and the Kallista's locked in for Lloyd.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange coming out of Lloyd. We've seen that he's been willing to pick up the Graves. Also, like Solution coming through as well.
Yeah.
Prefers a mid-game AD carries. Kalista can fulfill that role if she gets rolling and grabs Bloodthirster Hurricane. But we just haven't seen that happen very often this tournament. Kalista seems to be falling away a little bit. The Rek'Sai, on the other hand, power pick coming through for 007X. Extremely potent jungler still. Can go Warrior if you get very far ahead. Can also build the Cinder Hulk if you just need some late-game scaling. I like the pick away.
Yeah, definitely strong here, and we've seen in this tournament especially Rek'Sai being severely powerful. You talk about the tanky junglers, the Gragas of course banned away in this game, but Sejuani's there, Zack's there as well, potentially sitting on the outside, but it hasn't necessarily been the story, that it hasn't been the tanky junglers that have been taking over this tournament, and have to think it has a lot to do with the fact that we have a lot of these really aggressive power play junglers.
Yeah, exactly right. And we're about to see another one. Lee Sin
My
locked
goodness.
in for Julius Tito over there on the blue side. Corki will follow, of course. That will be an 80 carry. Corki, not really a flex pick because Reggie's already grabbed a Zed for himself.
I like that pickup though.
So Zycro, he'll be having it, and it is a good pickup in lane, especially against the Kalista. A little bit of a bully.
Yeah, and it also is going to make up for a lack of magic damage potentially if they still take an AD-focused top laner.
Yeah, wave clear in abundance coming through from Corki, able to get the rockets out as well to help clear out some waves. So definitely agree with you, Corki. Very good member of a three-man unit roaming around in the mid-game if you do get your Zed to start split push.
Well, we'll see whether they can do that and whether the Bangkok Titans are going to put a super tank there in the top side of the map. Of course, a lot of super tanks have been seeing play, and Corki struggles just a little bit to break through that one, and Sion would be the optimal example of that.
Yeah, it certainly would be. Sion,
oh my goodness, is G4 going to do it?
Tank coming through there. Is swapped out at the last moment, but there is a Jarvan locked in.
Is that mid lane Jarvan into Zed?
Potentially. I would prefer a Lissandra into Zed because it's a much harder counter pick.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just want to see the Jarvan versus Zed. I feel like that is the most testosterone-fueled matchup there in the mid lane that you could possibly get to.
No Garen, mate. Not enough testosterone.
Okay, that is a very good point. The Tryndamere Garen matchup always taking that one.
Oh.
Unfortunate. Of course, we haven't discussed that for quite some time, Spawn. We are going to head over to the other side of the rift as KLG thinking about their final two pickups to fill out this lineup. And what would you like to see coming through into the top lane there, Spawn?
Yeah, I just think that they need something tanky. Maokai is the one that automatically screams out to you. As soon as I mention it, it is hovered coming through. That would be in the top lane for Helios. I think that they also go towards a little bit more engage in their support position. They don't have much hard CC. I don't agree with the Morgana. I was looking more in the direction of something like an Annie. Corki Annie, such a dangerous lane coming through here, and I do feel that they lack a little bit of kill potential now that they have gone with the Morg.
Yeah, do you think maybe Bear was picking that away from the Bangkok Titans? Of course, fantastic to take a Morgana with a Kalista there, just make sure that she can't get locked down by that CC, or I guess the option of a Kennen here. Nautilus is banned away. Kennen support has been fantastic with that champion as well.
Yeah, exactly right. So Kalista being able to pick up the Kennen is a massive one, and I actually disagree. I don't think Morgana is great with Kalista at the moment. The Black Shield's good, but the initiation just isn't really there, as we have Moss now giggling very profusely and hovering a Cassidon.
Moss is the support player that has played Gragas support, though, in the past. The sub-support here for the Bangkok Titans. He is moving around with some different choices. In the end, is going to be Kennen locked away. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went for Cassiopeia support, though, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, no, definitely wouldn't have been too surprised, but this game is a must-win coming through for Bangkok.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They do lock in the Kennen support, and that's a very potent bottom lane. And you see it is the mid-Jarvan, so taking that head-on matchup that you mentioned, matching aggression with aggression, this is very dangerous for G4. If Reggie dodges out of any of the flag and drag, his auto attack will just be way too potent for G4 to be able to deal with.
Does that mean that Reggie can't use that Living Shadow in lane in order to get some extra long-range harass down with those shurikens, though?
No, not necessarily, because you just put the Shadow on top of him. As soon as he goes aggressive onto you, you click your W, you dodge out on it, then you just start hitting him as he goes past. So I think that Zed should be able to win out a lot of the trades. He can also dodge the Cataclysm as well as the EQ combo with the ultimate, the Death Mark that can come through. I just think that a lot of the damage can be negated. Warlock, on the other hand, he's going to be able to easily deal with Reggie throughout the mid game. Lissandra actually split pushes relatively well for a mage because she has that gap closer. And then, of course, being able to ult herself or the Zed, depending on whether you're getting ganked or other people are coming to you, just means that you have a lot more flexibility in these fights.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether that is how it's going to play out. Whether we're going to have some cheeky lane swaps coming through here as well. You may not necessarily see Lissandra on the top side of the map. It might be just a very different way of playing this one. The Bangkok Titans have felt free to mix it up in the past, and we'll see see whether that's what they want to do. Of course, dodging out of a 2v2 here for Kalista, is that something that you generally see?
Yeah, it is, but Kalista Kennen really strong in lane, actually. They've got really good poke coming through, and you can't get on top of her. So I think that they would nearly be happy to take the matchup. Morgana typically loses out on a couple of lane matchups. Yeah,
well, and it is Corki Morgana as well, so not necessarily, like if that Dark Binding doesn't land, of course, if you do, that's a lot of guaranteed burst damage to come through. Corki is a fantastic champion for that, but if that Dark Binding misses, there's not a whole lot stopping Kalista and Kennen from sort of going nuts.
Yeah, exactly right. Unfortunately, guys, we do have a pause to start off this match coming in, so we'll get you onto the Rift as soon as possible. But as you're saying, there's, I guess, an element of risk of running Morgana in the support position at the moment because she hasn't got a point-click stun. It is a skill shot. Travels quite slowly at times, so especially if you've got two people that are highly mobile, something like a Kalista and a Kennen coming through, it will be difficult to tie them down. The other thing is that Kennen will be able to break majority of the black shields that come through from Morgana just by getting some auto attacks through and using that W. Morgana typically maxes the Q coming through there and then maxes the black shield afterwards, and Kennen does a lot of base magic damage, so the CC should nearly be guaranteed.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether it does actually work out here and whether we are going to see these 2v2 lanes. I was thinking about the wave clear before. Of course, Puddle plus Phosphorus Bomb, decent for pushing that wave, so they might be able to get that early level 2, but is that necessarily going to be enough? And what we're saying here is it may not necessarily be.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they will definitely push out a lot better. You got two range champions, you got the Puddle, you got the Phosphorus Bomb. Nearly no one can outpush that lane. So they'll get the guaranteed level 2. It's what they do with that. And if Kalista Kennen just stall out, wait till they hit their level 6. Really good combo coming through there. Especially because we're seeing Pierce maxed a little bit more on Kalista.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot more burst damage coming through. If you get an auto attack Pierce and range, you can nearly max the Phosphorus Bomb auto attack that will come through from Corki. So I like the build a little bit more. She gets sustained through the Bloodthirster. So things are just turning this a little bit further into Kallista's favor than it used to be. It used to be an outright win for Corki.
Yeah, well, Corki actually going to have a little bit of a better time here. Assuming G4 is going to be going more of a carry-focused build there on that Jarvan in the mid lane. Rek'Sai sort of notably more of that damage type jungler there skirmishing in the early game, and Lissandra definitely no super tank, so you're not going to have the Mundos, the Maokais, the Scions running around this map that Corki needs to cut through.
Yeah, exactly right. So Corki going to be in a good position. On the other side of the map, though, we have a Maokai, and he is a super tank, and there's not really much tank shred coming through from Bangkok Titans.
Well, we'll see whether there is or whether there isn't as we are under the rift, ladies and gentlemen. KLG taking on BKT, the Bangkok Titans against Kaos Latin Gamers. And we'll see who's going to take the debut game here for our third day of the IWCI.
Yeah, and already they're going for an early invade. They get the slow. Can they nail the bind?
Yeah, they do have a whole lot of damage available here as Bear and Helios trying to lock down. Oh, misses the flash. There's the phosphorus bomb. Easiest first blood of Zychro's life. And KLG already with a fantastic start.
Yeah, and a nightmare start for Warlock. Doesn't get away and burns a 5-minute summoner spell. Going to be kicking himself on the back end of that one. And now they have control over the top side of the map, can get their deep wards and potentially look for a lane swap.
Yeah, and I'm terrified of Julius Dito here on such an early focused jungler here at the same time. We saw his Gragas. It was terrifying. And he was always able to be in exactly the right places around the map as well as KLG looking to continue their aggression here on the top side. Some decent wards to come through from the Bangkok Titans, but they're going to answer this aggression with some more deep vision here on the bottom side. Sentinel's already roaming that red side jungle, and Warlock, he's made his way back to lane, and if he leaves the underside of that turret, you have to think KLG probably just going to dive him again.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what they're looking for. They're sending their duo up there, and they're starting on the red buff of Bangkok Titans, so that means that they will be looking to get the early dive through. And Lissandra can't deal with dives at all level 1, especially if she's skilled the Q. She's in a lot of trouble.
Well, waiting now underneath that turret as Bear and Zychro are up here.
Good decision, just recalling straight away.
And does that mean that Warlock going to be going for that jungle follow here or moving towards somewhere else around this map to try and get something done? Because Rek'Sai, of course, very far away.
Yeah, it needs to get link up for some experience coming through there. You see that Rek'Sai already able to pick up some camp self-sufficiently, so will be in a position to jungle very strongly as they're behind G4.
Oh my goodness, Helio coming through here. G4 in a bit of trouble. Sonic Wave does land. There's the flag and drag sent. Sapling, sorry, going to chase down the Jarvan, but he is going to escape and keeps the flash.
Yeah, and confusing coming through. If they had a given complete experience over to Helio there, he would have had the W available, could have even held down that mid lane for a little bit longer. But once again, you see that Warlock teleported top. He has no flash, has no TP. They're sending Kennen up there, but if they shove this really hard, might not be soon enough.
Oh, Sonic Wave not going to find the mark here as the ward. Not going to quite get taken out. Warlock going to know exactly what's going on.
Oh, I really disagree with this. They backed away. That's a cannon creep wave. You should be able to dive. Even with 2, it's a level 1 cannon.
Yeah, level 1 cannon, level 2 Lissandra as well. Not a whole lot of extra damage there available as Moss with some shurikens, they're able to offer a bit of damage.
All right, so really questionable decision coming through from KLG. They could have completely secured their early game with the point-click CC that comes through from Maokai. Would have just been able to get in there. Bear as well as Julius Dito could have followed up with all of the CC required. And how do you get away from Lee Sin's early game damage if you have pretty much 2 guaranteed stuns coming through?
Yeah, and Julius Dito does have that red buff as well, so could have been permanently slowing. 007X staying around here on this bottom side of the map, stealing away the Krogs at the same time. Not going to be ganking anyone because, of course, there's no one here on the side of KLG. And Reggie just going to continue to farm out this mid lane. Does have a decent CS advantage as G4 is trying to farm up the best that he can. G4 on J4, that's quite good.
Yeah, I already did it once as well. It's going to be a rough game.
It is going to be a rough game, Spawn, but we'll get through it. It will be fine, and we'll see whether G4 is going to be able to play out this Jarvan lane as effectively as a lot of his others. Of course, a very proficient Zed player, and may sort of understand this matchup quite well.
Yeah, exactly right. So you see going in for the auto attack harass, that's Jarvan's passive coming through there, just does so much work. When you get that once every 6-second auto attack through, also helps with CSing, means that you can run purely armor penetration just the exact same way as Zed. And this really is a bad early game now for KLG. They got the first blood, but all of a sudden they've lost their lead, as we might see a gank in the mid lane. because they gave so much
there's
experience
the spike
over.
to come through. Reggie's taken a lot of damage as Julio Cito trying to get through here. The flash away here from J4. As it is going to be followed through here. Julio Cito just hanging around. Rek'Sai was there on that top side. May actually find Bear as he's moving down the river. He's going to need to escape as Black Shield's there to stop the knock-up from coming through, but a bit of damage. Dark Binding comes down, though, and 007X not going to follow through.
So what I was speaking of, Atlas, is the fact that there is a 27 CS Lissandra on the map to a 3 CS Maokai. And that's all to do with the fact that they didn't dive. They shoved 2 waves in, hoping that they could set up the guy. Dive Moss showed up at the perfect situation, scared Chaos Latin Gamer away, and all of a sudden Warlock soaked 2 full waves, one of which was a cannon creep wave, and picked up all of this extra gold. 30 CS to 3 is an absolute mammoth margin coming through for Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, and Reggie actually going to get his back stopped here by that Prey Seeker.
We'll lose a cannon creep wave for it as well. Good move coming through there from W7X.
Yeah, G4 able to push that wave through exactly how he wants to. Julio Cito just here on the bottom side, taking down some Krugs as well. And you're exactly right. I was going to mention that the fact that this Kalista has had free farm, being able to do exactly what she wants for the entirety of this game. Moss going to use that Lightning Rush just to get himself to safety there as Lloyd finally pushing this wave back. There's the Twisted Advance. Arcane Smash to come through as well. Helio level 6 though as Lloyd. Lloyd level 6, Helio level 3. Julio Cito has to be careful, doesn't have the kick, and Lloyd does threaten quite a lot with that Ren damage.
And Lee Sim plays out there. W before you Q. That was a sloppy play coming through from Julio Cito. He threw out a max range Q, missed it, and then you saw got the W to put him in melee range anyway. Could have just taken the opposite route. Got in nice and close. Would have at least guaranteed to blow the flash at that point. Instead, both summoner spells back up for the AD carry player for Bangkok Titans. And Lloyd now, he got a better trade across onto 2 members and can continue to free farm.
Yeah, no worries at all. And a Kalista with free farm, we've seen it before, terrifying on this map as Lloyd probably going to head back now, can pick up that BF sword if he feels like. We'll see whether it's going to be that or the recurve bow. We've been seeing a lot of double lifesteal options to come down from Kalista players, but it is going to be the BF sword first up, so that could be the way again.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the way. They're going for an early dragon coming through here. You saw that they had first blood and gave up the entire... Wow.
There's the Cataclysm. The auto attack was there. Reggie's burning down. Does have a potion. Is going to survive the final tick.
He must have survived on single-figure health there, Atlas, because he was so low already. They pick up the first dragon, but they have... Wow.
Moss is going to have to be careful. Dark Binding not going to find him as he's trying to juke around as best he can. Phosphorus Bomb doesn't even land here as Moss with some fancy dancing shoes on.
Mid lane, complete wash in the favor of G4 now. 20 CS the advantage. Went the Brutalizer route, a little bit more aggressive. And they forced off 2 massive waves now. Turret's even under fire as Julio Cito has to clear out a massive wave. So some of the maps starting to fall apart now, you'd have to say, coming through for KLG. They've got a 1,000 gold deficit even after they picked up first blood. And it was just because they didn't take the advantage in the top lane. Warlock wasn't repetitively dove.
A lack of confidence in a lot of these plays as well. 007's looking for Reggie. Gets a nice knock up there, but a lot of damage offered back here by this Bilgewater Cutlass Zed. Reggie is going to be fine. Lloyd took a massive burst trade from Zycro here, who has the Sheen. There's the Fate's Call, though. Zycro flashes out of the way of it as Moss is going to get the stun through. Chasing on after, cancels an auto attack, but Zycro probably was going to survive that one anyway, but cannot enter this lane. Lloyd tanked up an entire creep wave for quite some time.
Yeah, so Lloyd, he's very low as well, but the wave's pushing in his favor. He's going to be able to see us absolutely fine. If you were Zycro right now, you're just looking for the miracle snipe coming through from some big ones. And the bind hits.
Yeah, speaking of miracle snipes, the exhauster comes through. It was Moss, trying to get some work done. The flash forward. Lloyd picks up the kill on the first blood. AD carry. Bear is in so much trouble now. The turret doing some work there as Julio Cito is going to aid in the death of Rek'Sai. Reggie picks that one up. Living Shadows out of the way of G4 though, but Warlock comes through with the Frozen Tomb. And the Zed gonna die for it. It is 3-2 now, KLG's favor. But the Bangkok Titans have definitely been moving around this map a whole lot better this game.
Yeah, they're just a little bit more confident. You can see decisive in their movements is the way I would describe it coming across. And the teleport down from Warlock secured its kill for his team. Actually might have just packed up and walked in the end. And they're 50 CS up in the top lane pretty much, 40 CS up. They're 20 CS up and a kill in the mid lane. That was like pretty much a solo kill coming through from G4, whereas Zed's relegated to killing the jungler at the moment. And even this Lee Sin hasn't really been as effective as you would say the Rek'Sai early.
And Warlock a bit out of mana here. Helior in a bit of trouble as the Vengeful Maelstrom going to try and keep him alive. 007 gets the knock up. Helior makes his way underneath the turret though, and he is going to be fine. Yeah,
so able to survive that one, but a big gank comes through, forces him out of lane again. He's going to lose even more CS. And there's just not any wins coming across as there's a gank in the mid lane. Maybe they can get this going.
Yeah, Julio Cito, he does land the Q there, follows through on it, but Julio Cito taking a bit of damage here as G4 on this J4 does do a whole lot more damage than you'd otherwise expect because a lot of these Jarvans come out of the jungle. They don't have as much gold and they're going to be building more tanky.
Yeah, exactly right. You see already zoning away from the pink ward, so G4 staying aggressive in this lane. If he EQs in there, he's in a little bit of trouble, but they've also set
level advantage too.
Their mid support player into the mid lane to try and catch him out. It's left Zycro by himself down here, and now a gank coming in the other way.
Yeah, there's the flag and drag though. Reggie going to get knocked up. Bear looking for it as Reggie moves on the other side, but 007 picks up that kill so easily. Vengeful Maelstrom in the bottom side of the map. KLG falling apart in multiple lanes at this 11-minute mark. And damn, the Bangkok Titans, they looked fantastic on day one, and it's looking the same here on day 3.
Yeah, they're picking up exactly where they left. Off. They're going to be able to take 2 turrets as well. This lead will snowball out of control very quickly. They're actually looking to kill as many minions as possible in that mid lane as well. It finally does fall. But you saw that was just a little bit of a misplay coming out of Reggie. He held the ultimate. He didn't get his W off to dodge any of the damage. Was pretty much unsuspecting that they would commit that hard onto him. But if you're Reggie, you've been playing against this G4, J4 all game, you know exactly what he's trying to do. He's just been trying to repeatedly kill you.
Yeah. And he's more than happy to do so. Has been playing out this Jarvan lane very, very well. Now with that 22 CS advantage, they are going to head back into a laning phase, but Dark Binding dodged out of here by Lloyd, and he's going to easily pick up the kill onto Bear. The minions helping out at the same time, and I'm not sure what Bear was expecting.
Yeah, he just walked in there, was able to face tank, and had his exhaust available, didn't even choose to pop it in the end. So 2-level, 30 CS advantage, 40 CS advantage actually to Lloyd right now over Zycro, who picked up the first blood, you have to remember, Atlas. And things just not going the way KLG would like at this point.
No, and it seems that the Bangkok Titans, despite the fact that they did lose out there in the very, very early game, nothing going right here for KLG. Julius Tito has had some questionable plays on the Lee Sin. Now finished off the Sightstone, but doesn't quite have the Warrior enchant. Whereas on the other side, Cinderhulk and Sightstone completed here for 007X. G4 looking for a sneaky play onto Reggie. Does have level 9 to the level 7 Zed. And G4 not looking to stop building damage as well. Has a pickaxe as well as those Ninja Tabi and the Brutalizer from before as well. And man, this Jarvan is going to be able to be capable of quite a lot of burst damage moving forward in this game.
Yeah, certainly will be. And, you know, if he goes... Wow, they're going in.
Yeah, Julius Tito looking for it here as he lands the Q. There's the Glacial Path. Flashes out of the way as well as the Tempest cripple. Not quite enough to lock down this Lysandra. Helior probably doesn't want to dive as the Frozen Tomb comes through. Julius Tito takes 2 turret shots. And Warlock almost... Oh, my goodness. There's the Vengeful... the Slicing Maelstrom, and Moss is going to pick up that one, and Warlock just a cheeky Q nets him one as well, and that's 2 dead on the top side after they were the ones provoking the gank.
Yeah, and now Lloyd going to try and solo out Zycro.
Yeah, it does have the Bloodthirster as well, a whole lot of sustain in this lane, and you can see the Kalista just pressuring out the Corki. Not going to get the kill there as he was, in fact, auto-attacking some creeps during that one, so not too worried about it. And Reggie going to try and farm up this mid lane, but they're losing turrets, they're losing kills around this map as well. KLG just losing control.
Yeah, they've just lost everything in this early game, and it looked like they were set up for such success, Atlas. That's why it's so surprising. They had Warlock really on the ropes, but it was just the unwillingness to commit. And if anything we've seen out of this IWCI tournaments, teams are normally the opposite. They're normally willing to go extremely deep.
Yeah, and KLG have been one of those teams here as well, as Lloyd looking for another kill under Bear. 007X is going to take that one away as G4 looking to try and get amongst it. Julio Cito does have the red buff, so he managed to lock that one down as a cute little Krug going to do some work. Pierce to come down as well as KLG now looking to go aggressive. Nice Phosphorus bomb, but the trade damage from this Kalista with a Bloodthirster. more than this Corki can handle.
Yeah, well, it's Bloodthirster Zerka Greaves to not even a finished up Trinity Force right now. So even though Bangkok Titans haven't picked up their Dragon yet, they're going to look to do that. Now, every single key measurable on the map, they are ahead. Kills, CS on everyone, levels, advantages. Now equalize out the Dragons. And this is a scary team once rolling. We mentioned the fact that they don't have a tank, but levels just do that for you, honestly. If at this point in the game you're this far ahead, everyone is tanky because you just have the raw statistical advantage.
Yeah, and the Bangkok Titans now have exactly the right team comp to be able to take over this early game as well, because everyone's capable of a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, exactly right. You saw once again, Bear missed the binding. This is what we talked about. As soon as you do that as a Morgana, completely zoned away from the wave because you don't have any weapons left in your kit. And all like 40 CSC advantage in the bottom lane, it's still 20. It's 50 in the top lane. Every lane is massively winning coming through from Bangkok, and they didn't even really do it as a team. They just systematically won every part of the map solo.
Yeah, and they just did whatever they wanted. KLG were trying to make plays, but they, as you mentioned before, didn't commit. They didn't really pressure it through. They didn't think out exactly how the jungle follow was going to work, because Warlock, he was absolutely fine. They tried to shove through to try and get a cheeky dive. That never happened either.
Warlock should have died. Warlock should be completely out of the game. The fact that there is 130 CS Lissandra running around is actually a little bit strange, given how... Wow.
Yeah, G4 actually going down very, very low as the Deathmark's going to pick up that kill. G4 had a few too many friends to handle there in the mid-side. The middle of the map.
Yeah, but Last Whispers come through from Reggie. That's a pretty desperation build coming out. Not even going for a Brutalizer. It would probably be a little bit more efficient compared to how much armor is currently in the map. So a little bit more late game coming through. Maybe just realizing that not going to get that much gold, so needs to be late game ready as soon as possible. But just going back to Warlock, you said that they navigated it well, but really they sent a level 1 cannon up there, and it was a level 2 Lissandra. She wasn't going to do anything, had no flash. Cannon doesn't have the ability to CC at level 1, can only throw out that Q. And there was 4 members, 2 of which had hard CC. 1 has point and click. So the fact that they were able to live through that really was more of a mistake from KLG than a good play from Bangkok, and it just set the tone for the game.
Yeah, well, it has certainly set it up to fail at this stage. KLG really on the ropes this part of the game. 7,000 gold, the lead for the Bangkok Titans at 17.5 minutes. Dragons are even, as well as the whole outer rung of turrets has fallen down. A lot of map control for our Bangkok team, and you can see already with a whole lot of vision around this map. Topside still warded up fairly well here for KLG, but Bangkok Titans, they don't really care too much about that, because they're spending all of their time here on the bottom side. Lloyd pushing out this wave will rend this one down.
Probably.
Yeah, well, Frozen Tomb's available. Warlock can get in amongst it as he sees fit.
Actually playing it slow, just rotating through the jungle, making sure that they're the ones with the inside lanes, getting to turrets first. Will probably be able to take this one out, and they do it without even having to dive. That's just good play coming through from BKT.
Yeah, 007 is going to get through here. Nice kick from Julius Tito, but he gets frozen for it. There's the slicing Maelstrom. Helior getting stunned up there just a little bit. Lots of AoE damage to come through from the Zed as Fate's Call comes down. Moss dodges out of the damage. Helior's going to fall down as the Callista flashes forward into this fight. Zycro now on the backside will be able to pick up Moss and blows the heal at the same time. Phosphorus Bomb. Lloyd gets taken down. Zycro, the carry for his team, answering back, and it's an even trade.
Yeah, they go even. They lose out on the turret, but Zycro comes up huge in that little bit of a skirmish. Gets the shutdown now, 3, 2, and 3. Reggie also got some good damage out and zoned a couple of members at the start. As Warlock goes back in, oh, needs to be careful.
Yeah, was looking for the stun up, but wasn't quite in range for that Ring of Frost.
Yeah, Valkyrie got Zycro out. He'll go back, spend up a lot of gold in the backside, and that was a little bit of an overcommit. A good kick came through from Julio Stito to get that one started up, and from there, they took out the Lee Sin, but he kind of done his job already, CC'd up and started a fight, and it really was about Reggie and Zycro just free hitting on the backside of that team fight.
Yeah, they certainly did well. Of course, Zycro came there a little bit late, you have to say, but was able to clean up beautifully.
Yeah, and when they've got something like a Fed assassin like Jarvan, who at this point isn't a bruiser, he's a complete assassin with the build he's gone, maybe it's better to show up late. Make sure that he's used his spell reel before you come anywhere near him, because you know he can probably one-shot you with a full combo.
Yeah, he could probably one-shot Helior at this stage of the game. Almost has that last whisper as well as... Yep, there's a perfect
Exhibit
example.
A. Thank you, G4.
Yeah, Julius Dito, sorry about that, but we had to use you as an example. He is going to respawn, though, ladies and gentlemen, and he does know now not to go anywhere near this Jarvan.
Yeah, who is still relatively squishy. So the thing about their lineup is they don't have any tanks, but that might not matter as Baron is started up. This is a very risky call because Baron doing meaningful damage, and maybe, just maybe, KLG can get in and fight this one.
Yeah, it's a very young Baron as well, only alive for about 25 minutes on this map. Helior is going to notice what's going on as he's going to get destroyed in this fight. Does CC up Warlock just a little bit. The Baron falls down, though, as Rend able to tear it to shreds, and Helior, he suffers the same fate.
Yeah, and guys, Atlas meant 25 seconds, not 25 minutes. We understand it's only 20 minutes into the game. However, extremely young Baron comes through. Kalista absolutely shreds that one. Jarvan does a lot of damage at this point of the game as well. Rek'Sai surprisingly tanky coming through with that locket, so they're able to pick it up. 21 minutes, they've got the Baron now. They don't have a really good siege composition, but right now they can just dive recklessly. They've got the Zhonya's Hourglass, they've got the 40% CDR coming through from Warlock, so he definitely gets at least 2 spell rotations through. And this is just awesome news for Bangkok Titans. They will start their game off with a convincing win, it looks like, and have all the confidence in the world heading into playoffs.
Yeah, Bangkok Titans looking fantastic. KLG running out of options here on this map as they're down 10,000 gold at the 21-minute mark. And we've seen, as far as League of Legends history is concerned, 10,000 gold at 20 minutes is often a situation that you cannot get out of. Dark Binding onto Warlock, but they're just going to focus on taking down these wards. Warlock does take half of his health, though.
They are actually just very good at prioritizing what their next objective is, and currently bottom side of the map, vision control, seems to be where they're putting a lot of onus, because they want to be able to rotate around. You saw that they got the last turret simply from moving between mid and bottom uninhibited, and they'll be able to do that as they get a big wave crashing into the turret now. The dive!
Yeah, Moss actually gets kicked out as he blows the ultimate there as well. Warlock has to Zhonya's a little bit early. You have to think it's Julius Dito. He's going to fall down. Nice phosphorus bomb. That's one for Zycro as well, as he's doing a lot of damage around this fight. Fate's Call going to save the cannon as he's going to throw himself backwards in this one. No more use of this cannon in this team fight, but look at the Ren to come down. The shutdown here for the Kalista, and he tears apart the backline. Lloyd thought that he'd finish the job there. He's just going to dive the base. Pierce looking to come back up relatively soon, but Bear, he's going to survive for now, and they're going to take down the inhibitor turret, and there's not a whole lot that this support Morgana can do.
Yeah, exactly right. Absolutely nothing they can do, and that was with Warlock once again outplaying. Misplaying. If anyone looks out of sorts, it is Warlock as Bear. You're now in heaps of trouble.
Yeah, Julius Dito is around here. The Ren not quite stacked up enough here from Lloyd, but he does manage to pick it up. Sonic Wave not going to land either, and this Kalista just dancing around this fight.
Yeah, she can do whatever she wants. She has those 2 big items, also has a QSS, so not really much fear of dying. And that was with Warlock. He dove a turret, burnt Zhonya's Hourglass, then came out of Zhonya's and died. So that was pretty much a 4v5 turret dive.
Yeah.
They were still able to win because Lloyd is an absolute monster at 12-1-3.
Yeah, and Lloyd also just decided, okay, there are enough cooldowns now off that I can just go very, very aggressive in this fight. And he sort of turned it on towards the end there, cleaned up the rest of the members of KLG, and it looked like he possibly could have done that a little bit earlier in that fight as well, as Bangkok Titans really looking powerful moving forward in this one.
Split push coming through from Reggie in the top lane. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there's the death mark, but Moss has a Zhonya's Hourglass as well. Living Shadow going to mean that none of these shadows, shurikens are going to find anything, and 007 ends up just cleaning away that kill, and not a whole lot he could do.
Gets a top turret, buys some time for his team. They're able to clear out some CS in the bottom as well. Now in the mid lane, G4 does so much damage.
Whoa, Bilgewater Cutlass and another BF sword as G4 is going to get kicked out. Julius Dito, though, he's going to die to the Kalista as there's the slicing Maelstrom. Bear always seems to be in a whole host of trouble as G4 picks that one up with help of the Ravenous Hydra. Moss and Warlock still here, and everyone from Bangkok Titans has so much damage, and they can just take down this base. 007X, he wasn't even present for that fight, and it was only Zycro left over after that. Reggie, he's respawned. Deathmark not there, doesn't have the Ignite either. And these carries for the KLG lineup, They're going to try and do what they can, but I have a feeling they're not going to be able to stop the onslaught.
Yeah, I definitely think that this game is past the point of no return. It's 15,000 gold now, Atlas, and every member is just ridiculously huge for BKT. You see the Jarvan, and he hasn't stopped. He's pretty much got the ideal Zed build. This is what Zed wants to pick up. But Jarvan, he's got none of the finesse of a Zed. He just launches himself at you and auto-attacks you to death as Helio goes in.
Yeah, he's going to flash onto Warlock here as IWCI trying to get something done. Safeguards into the backline, but can't find the kick target. Helio is going to take down the Lissandra, but G4, you saw that auto-attack. That was disgusting. Deathmark from Reggie gets exhausted from Moss. KLG actually coming out better in this fight than you'd otherwise expect considering the gold gap, as it is a 2-for-2 so far, but BKT still with a whole lot of power in this one, and they've got positional advantage around this turret.
Wow.
There's the flag and drag. Look at all the damage from G4 as he nets himself another kill. Reggie with some nice poke in the backside, but Lloyd, man, these Ren sets are really doing work, and when you can pick up two massive items like BF Sword and the Bilgewater Cutlass, you know something's going right for your Kalista.
Yeah, exactly right. So just in a position to be able to carry this game through. You also saw how much damage G4 did with that double knock-up. He was exhausted as it came through and still chunked out two members. So huge props to how BKT have played this game. They're in such a good position now because we talk about tournaments, everyone's kind of beating everyone. Bangkok Titans, as well as the CIS team Hard Random, kind of are now the top of the table coming through. Well, they are the top of the table, not kind of. But they've done it in really convincing ways. And everyone was talking about Turkey. Everyone was talking about Brazil. And then kind of Oceania as a third. No one was really throwing Bangkok Titans as well as the CIS region out there.
You have to remember as well that the Bangkok Titans, this is the second seed team coming from the Southeast Asian region. The Saigon Fantastic Five unable to make it, but still having fantastic representation of their region.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're playing with not only their pride on the line, but their whole region, really, because they were the second-seeded team. So the fact that they can come into this tournament and have such dominant performances just bodes even better for the Southeast Asian region. And they've only got one out of turret, I guess, base turret left. It's in the mid lane. Looks to see where they're propping next because 007X, he's preceded every aggressive move for his team this game. 3, 3, and 12. Very supportive role coming through. IWCI going in.
Yeah, there's the kick flash to come down as well. 007 going to get knocked out of his takeaway. Warlock comes through, but he might actually die for this one. There's the ult on himself. Does still have the Zhonya's slicing maelstrom to come through from Moss as Bear takes so much damage. G4 just wants a kill. He'll get one, but in the end, it'll be a 2-for-1.
And he didn't ult coming into that one as a knock-up.
Yeah, there's the Fate's Call. Zycro, what? That was filthy damage.
Yeah, so able to pick it up. They'll also get the game with that as there's...
Oh, Lloyd's not finished. IWCI gets rendered down. Not actually going to find the death, but Lloyd says, okay, well, if I can't kill you, then I'm just going to win the game. Oh, actually, Reggie offering him a target. Beautiful pierce. And the legendary Kalista going to finish this game here for the Bangkok Titans. As IWCI is going to take down Moss, and Lloyd wants to get some revenge, so they'll, you know, hold off winning the game just for now. IWCI is going to pay for that one. 007X going to pick it up. Bear comes through now. Is there going to be another offering here to the Bangkok Titans? No. Lloyd picks up the 50 gold. And man, Bangkok Titans, especially Lloyd in that game, were looking very, very scary. And you have to think they were playing the last stage of that game without a care in the world.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, Lloyd got like the 1v0 lane because of how long in the top lane Helio wanted to dive Warlock and just never got it done. So in the end, even though I guess Lloyd kind of was given a lot of farm and then was against a very under-leveled Maokai, the ability to transition that into a late game is still very impressive. So picking up all the kills for his team, turning into that hard carry. Once again, Kalista Cannon, such a potent duo, and they were just able to get it done for everyone on the map.
Yeah, and they weren't even a duo for the majority of that game. That was ridiculous. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to mean that KLG unable to get into